Hey, what's going on guys? Mixuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at an AZORIUS control deck for standard best of one. So after blue-black control, we obviously have to move on to blue-white control, and blue-white control got some new interesting tools as well. The one that they share, or the tool that both control decks share, is the Memory Deluge. 4 mana instant, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast the spell, put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order, and it has flashback. So this card's nuts, you guys know it by now. It's been in literally every single control deck as like a 2 to a 4 of. Really, really good. We're playing 4 copies because we play a lot at instant speed. We tap out for sweepers and like epiphanies, as well as our 2 planeswalkers. But aside from that, we draw go a lot of the time. Also like Revelry, but that's fine. What else do we have? We have Faithful Mending. Now, a lot of people have been either really high or really low on this card. I'm kind of in the middle. I like it, but I don't love it. It's a 2 mana, you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and it has flashbacks, so you can do it again. So basically, a faithless looting that gains you life at instant speed, and then you can do it again at instant speed. So it's card neutral after you flash it back, and this card's not terrible. Against aggro, you can discard your counter spells, try to find your Faithful Absences, removal spells, sweepers, and again, gaining life is good for offsetting their damage. And you can do it again on turn 3 if you still haven't found what you need. So it's not a terrible card, but it's not crazy either. It's against like control, it's a pretty big tempo loss if you're not doing, but if you're not doing anything else with the mana, it's fine. So this card's like good. It's not great in my opinion. So we're running the 2 copies. Better in best of 1 than best of 3 for sure, because the life gain is more relevant and you have more specific answers to more specific decks. Other new cards, we have Fateful Absence. So 2 mana, destroy target creature or planeswalker, its controller investigates. Instant speed removal in white is really solid. We're not running the full playset because the clues can come back to bite us in the ass if we're trying to play a long, grindier game, but I think it's good. We also don't necessarily need all 4 copies because we have stuff like Portable Hole and Doomscar, which Doomscar is a catch-all sweeper. There's not much, if at all, indestructibility in the format right now, and Portable Hole can act as a removal spell on 1 or 2, where this would also come in handy. Good also because it deals with planeswalkers. There's like Mordenkainen, Lolth, that kind of thing that are still in the format, Liliana. So against control, it's not completely dead as long as they have some sort of planeswalkers, and it hits manlands. So Faceless Haven, Hall, all that stuff. Good card, but we're only running the 2 copies. A card I've been really impressed with, and might even go up to 4 copies of, is Sunset Revelry. I've gotten all 3 modes of this card a lot, and if not, even like 2 modes, depending on what they are, is completely fine. Against aggro, you're pretty much always going to gain the life and get the humans. The only card that's kind of iffy, or the only mode that's kind of iffy, is the draw. And honestly, 2 mana gain 4, make 2 1/1s is completely serviceable, right? Like there's a lot of token decks that will play 2 mana, create 2 1/1s. This has life gain attached to it, which for control is really good, kind of like a timely reinforcement. Other new cards we have is Teferi, who slows the sunset. Now this card is solid. It's not like insane. It's not as good as like Teferi 3 or Teferi 5, which is kind of sad to say because, you know, 3 mana is less than 4. But if you guys watch the games, I do get to ultimate this thing, which is really, really sick. So this card is not terrible. For the +1, you get to choose target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target land, and untap the chosen permanents, and then untap the chosen permanents you control, and tap the ones you don't. You gain 2 life. So life gain is good against aggro. Again, offsets damage. Your opponent has to respect it, or it's going to keep gaining life. It also can ramp you towards other spells. So see me do that in the video as well, where let's say we're missing 1 mana to do something, or to hold open double counterspell or single counterspell. You can plus the Teferi, tap your land plus the Teferi, use the mana, and then still have your untapped lands. So that's really cool. If not, you can just plus the Teferi, untap something after foretelling or whatever, and then still have more mana available on your opponent's turn. The -2 is look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom, so it can help you find lands and stuff. And the emblem, which for the most part is flavor text, but it's really cool. You get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. So on their turn, you basically get to do what they do, draw a card and untap all your lands. Really, really sick ultimate if you can get to it. Aside from that, the rest of the cards are pretty standard. We have Portable Hole, just early removal, can deal with classes, which is really good. Disdainful Stroke and Negate, 1 of counterspells. Saw It Coming, Divide, learn card counterspell. Learn board is more lands, non-land permanent removal in case you need a versatile answer. Draw some cards. I fetch this a lot. I think it's the card I fetch the most in the learn board. And Mascot Exhibition to close out the game, maybe make some more blockers if you need to. Good learn board. Pretty happy with it. Doomscar, obviously, really good sweeper. You need to play 4 of in best of 1. One card I wasn't sure about is Alrund's Epiphany. I've been playing this a lot in the past couple of months, and I've seen a lot of control decks without the Epiphany, and I'm not sure why that is. I built a deck without it, and I was like, how bad can 4 Alrund's Epiphanies really be? Like, the card is nuts on its own, albeit a little bit stale at this point, but if you're going to try to win games, and that's what I'm trying to show you guys, like a good control deck build, I think you should play the Epiphanies. I could be wrong, and if I'm proven wrong in the future, that's completely fine, but for now, we're still running the Epiphanies, and you'll see every single game I've played today, this card has come in crazy clutch, so I'm really happy I included it. Anyways, 4 Alrund's Epiphanies. If you don't have them, craft them. Card's great. One Mord, because we're not trying to tap out as much. It's a win con, card advantage Planeswalker. Emblem can kind of win you the game with the Epiphanies. I like a 1 of Mord. I wouldn't play more in this specific list. The mana base, we're a 27 or 28 land deck. 28, yeah. Whenever you click that now, your DFCs get put back to where they're supposed to be, or where they are on the curve. So yeah, 28 lands. We have 2 Jwaris as tapped 4 spike land, Seagate and Amiria's Call as card draw and alternate win con, and yeah, 4 Field of Ruin. Okay, so the reason I'm not running 4 Field of Ruin in other control decks like Dimir is because we have better instant speed targeted removal for those cards. We have like Infernal Grasp and stuff. But in blue-white, where we only really have Fateful Absence, you really want an answer to Manlands. So Field of Ruin is a easy 4 of. Also, Deserted Beach helps with your mana on turn 3 for if you need to cast Saw It Coming or Doomscar. And aside from that, the mana is pretty good. This new land really helps. Pathways. We have some halls as alternate win con and manland. It can also be a blocker and some basics. Anyways, guys, I feel like I've rambled quite a bit, but I'm really happy with this deck list. And if you like it, be sure to drop a like on the video. It will be in the description down below as always. Also, consider subscribing. It motivates me to make more content. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Let's get into some games. All right, sweet. We're on the play against who knows what. Teferi Avatar, but I have learned not to trust that stuff. And the opponent takes a mulligan. All right. So we have to ask ourselves, are we putting in the Seagate Restoration tapped? Or are we holding off for it to be a potential draw spell? I think I'm going to play it as a tap land and not be greedy. We are going to need double white if we're going to use the Doomscar. And I am trying to build up to Epiphany. Oh. Don't mind the bit of lag. So Delver of Secrets could be any type of blue something deck. So I don't think I have to shoot it just yet. I think I can take a turn off to foretell. Let's foretell the sweeper. I mean, are we really likely to sweep? You know what? If they play like Egg, I think I would. So we're going to foretell Doomscar. And just pass. Alright, so it is blue-red. Playing Seagate Restoration. That's impressive. When I built my deck, I did not think we were going to be getting to 7 mana. But maybe they're like a Dragons build. I've seen Dragons builds of this exact deck a fair amount of the time. So I don't want to Wrath just a Delver of Secrets. And Divide isn't that great because it's a 1 mana card, but by replaying it, they would have to flip it. And this thing as a 1/1 isn't that much of a threat, but as a 3/2, it's much more, you know, scary. So do we just foretell Epiphany? Do we Absence or do we Divide? I think I'm good to just pass. Maybe end phase Divide. They play Iteration, means they're probably trying to get to land. I think that means we put that right back in their hand. And now their hand's getting really big, so I'm going to grab the Teachings. Assuming they don't have another land. They do. Okay. Never mind then. So now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can play this on white. Cast Teachings. Draw some cards. Or I can foretell an Epiphany and play Fateful Absence. I don't hate either of these options. I think I could still take another bump from this. I mean, we have removal, right? How badly do I need the cards? Not that badly. I think I'd much rather get this down next turn, but they might counter it at that point, and I really want to keep hitting my lands. If I had land in hand instead of one of these epiphanies, it would be easier to cast the teachings. Sorry guys, I know I'm taking a long time. I'm leaning Foretell Epiphany, cast Fateful Absence. And if they counter my absence, that's completely fine. Okay. I think we shoot this now. Just try to save some life. If they want to counter it, that's fine. If they want to use the clue now, that's fine. Yeah, they AZORIUS. Okay. Delver put in some work. And the iteration. So they played land for this turn. So iteration's just a 2-mana draw card. And we're building up to Epiphany. So eventually this thing's not going to be that scary. I don't want to waste a Wrath on one creature. But I guess that's just why Delver is so good. Okay, let's draw. Beach is nice, and we can foretell the Epiphany. We can potentially chain on back-to-back Epiphanies right now. But they might have more AZORIUS disruptions. Who knows? So far, this one Delver has dealt 9 damage, so, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Second Delver. Oh, they're digging for land. Alright, if they hit blue land, I'm gonna Wrath this board. And I'm pretty happy to as well. Okay, they hit red land. Which, I mean, land is land. It keeps progressing their mana. Okay. That's kind of gross. Alright, so now we just cast Epiphany number 1. I've been drawing a lot of Epiphanies in my games. Is it Epiphany number 2, guys? Could be. Could be Epiphany number 2, but we have some blockers. I can just foretell this one and hold open Deluge, which isn't terrible. But then again, how bad is just making even more blockers? Plus we have this many Epiphanies. I think we just go for another one. Keep trying to progress our mana. Okay, another Doomscar. So I think we just foretell this Epiphany. And hold open Deluge. Or I can resolve Mord, which Mord is a pretty big threat as well. It makes a dog. They have to deal with the dog. We have a bunch of blockers. Okay. I'm going to slam Mord. 8/8 dog. No attacks. Because if for any reason they tap out, it's a 2-turn clock with Epiphany. Goldspan Dragon. Okay, we can quad block Goldspan Dragon, which is part of the reason why I held back 4 of these. Or I could just block and then double block. Like so. But then they have 2 mana up. Which I don't really want to deal with. But if they have removal spell for one of these birds, it's such a blowout. I think we block like this. Yeah, and they have something, see? I also don't want to triple block this, because they can just shoot this other bird that serves as a pretty important blocker. Dragon's Fire. Okay, that's fine. Right, even more of a blowout if we had quad blocked. Now it just kind of looks like we chump blocked a little bit. And they're dead. Alright, nice. Good game. I mean, we can make another dog, then Epiphany. Sure, whatever.
My faithful house.
When making this deck, I wasn't sure if I was going to include Epiphany because I looked at a lot of lists and not many of them ran it. And I was like, you know what? It's an extra turn spell. How bad can it really be? And yeah, pretty happy with my decision. Yeah, this deck also, the opponent's Is It Delver deck was a lot more expensive than the one I built. Goldspan Dragons had Seagate restorations and stuff like that. I prefer my lists to be more low to the ground in this deck. Alright, we start. Not a bad hand, let's keep it. We have to manage our mana correctly, which is weird. So this has to either come down on 1 or on 3. This can come down on 1, but that means I'm playing this on 2 and probably foretelling. And then on 3 we can cast anything else we want. Is that good? I think it's okay. So we're going to start with Juari's tapped. Against what looks like Dimir, okay. Against the Dimir land, I think we want to get Epiphany Foretold before Doomscar. Cram Session, okay, so this is probably just CGB's Dimir control list, if I had to guess. I can hold open Divide by 0. Is there anything they'd cast on 3? I don't think so. Maybe we just foretell, but I also don't really want this in my hand. Sorry, I want to find Faithful Mending to discard. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they don't have another land. So we're going to divide that back to their hand and try to slow them down. And they have a lot of cards in hand, so it's a good teachings turn. If they have land, cool. They have to discard Grasp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Draw some cards. Okay. Not ideal, but I guess it's fine. This is why we run the DFCs. Okay, and now the environmental sciences. And duress. Okay, so they can take Deluge, which is probably what they're going to take. But if they take Deluge, then I can at least flash it back later on in the game. Yeah, they can take Revelry as well. Yeah, they take Deluge. Makes sense. So, land off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meaning I can cast Revelry, draw a card, gain some life. It's not the worst. We draw Field of Ruin. And do I foretell this Doomscar? I can hold it for Mending and bluff up Counterspell. But the less cards I have in my hand, the better when it comes to Revelry. I think we hold and bluff Counterspell. Just because I want to discard this to a Mending. Okay, sweet. So Field of Ruin, I'm going to go for this take an extra turn. If they counter it, that's fine. If they don't, then we have Deluge next turn. They just divide it to my hand, which is also fine. Grab Teachings, or Environmental Sciences, sorry. They're struggling on mana, but that's also because we set them back, so I don't feel too bad about it. And if this is an exact net deck, they do run enough lands. So that's kind of unfortunate. Alright, so I'm going to play this Pathway, and we're just going to pass. I'm going to cast Deluge for 7. I could have also tried to force Counterspell. Deluge, okay. That should help them stabilize, get back more into the game. I can actually cast this now. It's okay. A lot of cards in hand. But we have a lot of cards as well. And I know they run Wraths and removal spells that are dead. At least these can remove Planeswalkers. Whereas their deck's going to have a harder time. We have this for a potential manland. No problem. End of turn. Flash this back. Alright, what do we want? I mean, these are all pretty good cards in the matchup. Counterspell's good. Second Epiphany is good. Mending is also good. We can, like, cycle out Portable Hole and Doomscar. I think it's Mending and Sot coming. And just set up even more. And they have to discard the Meat Hook Massacre. Cool. So is it Teferi time? Could be Teferi time. If we cast Teferi and they counter it, am I okay with that? I think so. I can also just set up my mana even better. We're going to put this on blue. Start foretelling. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have 4 mana available for either a Saw It Coming or a Mending. I think I'm good with that. So we're going to foretell Epiphany. Blanks out my hand as well. Oh no, does it? It blanks out my foretell cards, so they don't know what I have there. So we double foretell, and we pass. And now we have mana for Saw It Coming and Mending. So these Epiphanies are good, but they're expensive. They're very powerful cards, but we do have to be careful when we try to go for them. Mending. If they counter this, like, we're completely okay with that. Okay. I'm going to drop off these 2 cards because at least Mending keeps cycling. Deluge is good. And we want to keep hitting land. So, if I cast this Epiphany, we have 3 mana up. They can potentially double counterspell. I think we just try to get Teferi online. We can start minusing it, or we can plus it to try to get more mana every turn and push the emblem. I'm going to try to rush the emblem, honestly. Submit 0 on the artifact, submit 0 on the creature, and we're going to untap land. So gaining life isn't particularly relevant, but this minus 7 really is. So how much do I care about this Deluge? I mean, it's not bad, but we only have 1 counterspell right now. So I think we just pass. Very thankful for my mana advantage. That's really, really putting us ahead in this game. Shockin' Seagate Restoration, or sorry, Bolton Seagate Restoration even. We have 6 mana, so I can Deluge and hold open Counterspell. Let's go for it. Or I can even Deluge and Mending if I wanted to. Those seem good. Do I Mend? Draw 2, ditch 2? I guess so. If they want to resolve a 7 mana Deluge at the end of their turn, like, that's fine. Easy discard a Portable Hole, and I think we can get rid of an Absence. I don't think this deck runs many Planeswalkers. I don't remember the exact list. Okay. So we're going to miss a land, but I think that's fine. I can minus Tef to try to find it. If I play this, then we have 2 mana to fight with. If I play this, we have 3. Okay, we get to choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanent. Let me try something. We untap this land, ramp ourselves to all that mana, so now we can hold open double counterspell. Saw It Coming and negate or Disdainful Stroke as well. That's pretty dirty. They go for a counter. I'm going to counter back. And they have 5 mana. So it's very possible that they have, like... Wait, I don't even know if this deck runs negates and Disdainful Strokes. I know it runs Saw It Comings and Divide by Zeros, but I'm not sure. Yeah, see, this is where that play was freaking sweet. If I could just tap myself on the back a little bit. But yeah, they're not in, like, I don't know how many counter spells they have. If they had 6 mana, we could be in trouble. And they still have their 3 Sought Comings. They play Devious Cover-Up. Easy Disdainful Stroke. Right, that deck runs Devious Cover-Up. True. And now they're completely tapped out. We make the birds. Birds have been created. We get in for 2. We're going to tap this for mana. Plus Tef again. Submit 0, creature, land. Cast Other Epiphany. And that's game. Because yeah, then we untap, go for Tef Ultimate. Pushing us to Diamond, by the way. That's freaking sweet. I have not been on that ladder grind. I've been on that draft grind to get more cards. But -7 is you get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. So that's pretty good. It means we get to use all our mana on our turn and on their turn, and we basically get to draw a card during all their turns forever, or for the rest of the game. So it's really going to be difficult for them to win past this ultimate and this mana advantage. So sweet game. Okay, weird hand. We have Wrath on 3, and we can technically use Field of Ruin to find blue. So I think we keep this. We have turn 2 Foretell, turn 3 Wrath against mono red. Let's go. And we don't even need to do that. We could just play out the planes and say go. So we're not going to be doing much for the early turns of the game, but that's fine. Any 2-drop? Akum Hellhound. Okay, I have not faced off against mono red in so long. This is such a classic matchup, though. Play with fire to my face. I gotta respect that. That was the fastest scrat at the top I've ever seen in my entire life. And even if they don't commit more to the board, we're playing Doomscar, and they commit more to the board. Alright, so who wants to bet that they scoop after this Wrath? It would not surprise me. They haven't scooped. Guys, they haven't scooped. It's a miracle. Okay. They're pushing through. They want this. I'm going to play Tef. And I'm not going to minus. I'm going to Tef plus. Submit 0. Yeah, we're going to tap you again. And we're going to untap my island for no reason. I could have untapped this, but it doesn't really matter. Now, this offsets the damage from the adversary. So if they want to keep going face, we're going to keep gaining 2 life a turn. So they have to essentially pressure down Tef, which is not where they want to be.
I'll show you how it's done.
Moonslayer Slash. Okay, I actually really like this card. I think it's really cool. So that's a tap land. We cannot Deluge because we don't have double blue yet. So we're just going to go for the good old double Foretell. If they play another creature, which they do. Oh, it has haste. Uh-oh, that's 5 damage. Okay, we're getting kind of low. We got to be careful. We don't even have 6 mana. That's kind of funny. But we Wrath this board. And we Foretell another Wrath. I'm surprised they're still in this. How many adversaries have they drawn? A couple. Okay. Is it Deluge time? I could Deluge for land Foretell Epiphany. But I do like holding open Divide by 0. I'm not trying to die to some bird. We know this deck runs like Moonslayer Slash and play with fire. So, and I think it's okay if we take our time a little bit. Revelry? Oh, Revelry's so good. We gain some life. We don't make some blockers. It's actually just to gain some life. It's not that great in hindsight. We're going to grab these. How bad can 3 back-to-back epiphanies really be? I think they're dead. If I have done... Well, I haven't done the math, but regardless, I think we just pop off all these epiphanies. Yeah, they take another 4. Yeah, they're dead. Could put that on white. Go for this again. Hold on. 6 plus 7 is 13. They live. They live on 1. Can you believe that shit, guys? We're going to hold this back as a blocker. And we're going to pass. So I know I probably should have done that math, but I don't think making 6 birds and ramping and drawing a bunch of cards is terrible. Land, Phoenix. Get back to your hand. Doesn't really matter what we grab. We deluge. Grab. It really doesn't matter. We grab another 2 cards, animate this, kill them. Alright. Well, that was pretty cool, honestly. After that Wrath, I thought they were done, but Mono Red put up more of a fight than I expected them to. I like the Daybound, Nightbound stuff, like with the Phoenix and the Stormseeker, as well as the Day-Night Lightning Bolt. Like, I've been having a lot of fun with this in Draft, but I don't know how good it's going to be in Constructed. Okay, we're on the play. 5 lands. We can foretell a bunch. We can use Field of Ruin. It's really slow, but I'm going to trust the deck. We have a lot of card draw, and we have, like, card cycling, kind of. What are we starting with? Mirror's Call tapped. We literally might need this as a spell, so I'm going to start with the plains. We have 4 lands. Mirror's Call, yeah. Okay. It's not terrible. Let's foretell the Sot coming. Or do I foretell the Olorun's Epiphany? Ooh, interesting. I think this is going to be more important because next turn we're probably tapping out. Or not tapping out, but tapping lower for the Revelry. Yeah. Okay, so we play this land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We cast this. We get all the modes. We get the humans. We get to draw. We get the life. Cool. Sweet value. Really nice control tool, especially for catching up. And now, unless they put the counter on the pupil, they don't have a good attack. Okay. We haven't completely stabilized, but I don't hate our spot. We have to trust our deck to provide us with wraths and card draw and stuff. But hopefully we can do that. I wonder if this is Celestia Humans or if it's just mono white with a human sub-theme. Or if it's just mono white and they want to run Star Pupil. Okay. Exile my 1/1 token. I think we hold back here. We could just take some damage. Okay. And we're going to hold open counter spells, I guess. We're at 6 mana, so, I mean, if we can live long enough to cast Amiria's Call, that's going to be pretty cool. Put a +1/+1 counter, it gains vigilance, that's fine. They can do it again, that's also fine, yeah. This is literally just a way for them to push in damage. Do I take 7? I honestly think I do, because their life total is going to get even higher. Or sorry, their power and toughness are going to get even higher as the game progresses. That's not a bad draw. What am I getting rid of? It's probably the Aspirant, right? This makes their team grow every turn. Okay. Aspirant it is. And we can get down this on white. There's triple white. 1, 2, 3. God, I love these beaches. They're so good. Yeah, okay. So that's 5. This is 6 for the Epiphany. And then 7, we play the Angels. And hope we get something good from there. They play Portable Hole. I'm going to negate that. This essentially just saves me some life. Double Portable Hole. Do you have a third Portable Hole? It's possible. But I'm more in the business of countering their threats right now. That's why I use negate on the non-creature spell. And countering their threats is fine when we don't have a sweeper. Which, I mean, clearly we don't. What you got? I wonder if they're trying to play around a sweeper. They play another Pupil. I think that's fine. It's just a 1/1. Revelry. Revelry is a card. Do I take a turn off just to cast Revelry? I don't think so. It'll gain me life and draw me a card regardless. I'm going to make the birds. The birds have to be better. And the extra turn. Okay, yeah. Kind of nasty. That's the exact play pattern I was hoping for. And now Sunset Revelry is going to gain us 4 life and draw us a card because there's no way my opponent can empty their entire hand this turn. Apparition for the Portable Hole. Oh, they're trying to target the Angel Warrior? Nah, man. Non-token. It's the Portable Hole. It's literally your only target. At least you get back your Aspirant. You know, notice the notice the confusion. It's not the other new 3-drop where you can literally just eat tokens forever as long as it's flipping between night and day. They make the Pupil a 5, which is concerning. We can chump block it for free, so I think that's what we're going to do this turn. Which is also partially why we held back Bird. Alright. So Pathway. Let's cast Revelry. Uh-oh. Alright. So I think we have to try to kill them. That's 8. That's 9. If they don't interact with my board, then they're dead to this exact combination of creatures next turn. Unless I just hold back 1 Angel, get in 4 or 5, and then we can block all this. But they're only going to have, well, they're going to have to hold back 1 of these. They're going to get in for 5, 6, 7, let's say 10. If they can remove 1 of these, I'm in trouble as a blocker, but on offense as well. So I think we just full send. Maybe we hold back the birds. 8, this puts them to 11, and that's just 10. So that's 18. No, we have to attack with a bird. Okay. All right. Drawing that land is brutal. We do run a fair amount of lands, but at least some of them are spell lands like Amiria's Call. And we do have counter. So counter is good for protecting one of our tokens because, like I said, we're not dead on board right now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. And then they're dead on the way back. As long as we can protect a token or prevent lethal damage via a buff spell, we're happy. They don't know that this is a land. Deluge would have been really nice, but, you know, it is what it is. We can also start cracking... We can crack a Field of Ruin to thin the deck, if that matters. I mean, it can matter a little bit, but not all that much. And I'm a little bit worried about ramping them, but I don't think there's anything at instant speed that they could cast. So yeah, they need another portable hole or something of the sort. A Kabir takedown would technically work. I mean, assuming they can get past counterspell, that is. So they need 2 answers to an angel. Do you have it or not? Are they just tilt roping me? Okay, so we're gonna do this to thin the deck because I don't know what they have. And I still get to hold open counterspell through it. Might not be the most impactful play, but I think it's fine. Yeah, see, there was a Plains on top. Alright, Faithful Absence as well. I mean, at least I can blow up my own creature. Are they just dead? Nice, we got him. Sick. So even if they had a removal spell, like Kabira Takedown or the portable hole, then, you know, we still had counterspell. So sweet. Nice little game against mono white.